Hey everyone, it's Lynnea with a video for the Scrapping for Less store. And today I have a stamp set by Gina K Designs. It's called Warm Spring Wishes, and I'm going to be using the leaf stamps and the butterfly stamps to create a circle like masked background. So I have a piece of stencil plastic here that I've cut down to be 6 by 6. And then I used just a regular circle die and I cut out a circle from the center of this. Completely do it myself because I was wanting to use oxide sprays and I knew I was going to be spraying repeatedly and I didn't want to have to cut a bunch of paper masks and worry about the ink seeping through. So I just used stencil plastic and made my own stencil. And I'm actually going to be using just the center circle to mask off the center portion of my card. So I sprayed it with some Pixie spray, which is just a low-tack spray meant for stencils so that it'll stick down. And I sprayed it once, and actually I made 4 cards, and I didn't have to respray this. So I have some Distress Oxides, and I haven't sprayed them before, so I am going to grab just a piece of scratch paper and kind of pump the spray a couple times to make sure that the liquid is up into the nozzle. I'm starting with the Iced Spruce color, and this is like a warm gray. I feel like this is an often overlooked distress ink color, but it's one of my favorites. I love the neutral tone of it, so I decided to use it for my backgrounds. And what I had in my head was that I would use this circle to mask off the center of a card so that I could have the clean lines of the circle to do some stamping in. And I did this a couple times, and it was only on the last try that I actually got the look that I was striving for. But I'm going to continue on spraying here, and like I said, I created 4 cards, 2 with the Ice Spruce background, and now I'm coming on with the Distress Cracked Pistachio. And this was the look that I was looking for. So when you're doing this yourself, to get this look of like a halo, you want to spray close to your stencil. What was happening was the higher up I held my spray, the further I would, the more area I would cover with my spray. So I had this just a couple inches off of that mask. And look at that, you have those clean lines in the middle of your card with a halo of color around. So I'm going to go in with the Fossilized Amber Distress Oxide ink. And I'm using oxide ink so that it will cover up the spray in the background. If you use a dye ink, the spray color might show through. So I'm using the oxide inks to kind of build a wreath going around my card. And for these first ones that I stamped this leaf image right up close against the circle. And when I created my last 2 cards, I kept it further out of the circle, and I like that better, but it's completely up to you however you want to do it. So I'm just going around filling in that whole frame with the leaf stamp. And now I'm going to come in with the butterfly, and I'm going to be using some Tattered Rose Distress Oxide ink. I was kind of trying to find a color that went with the Cracked Pistachio and the Fossilized Amber. So I did a quick Google search of color palettes, and this pale pink came up, and I really like it, but the Tattered Rose is super light, so I did end up stamping this 3 or 4 times just to get the concentration of color that I was looking for. And I love this pale peachy pink color for the butterfly. I thought it turned out really pretty. For my other backgrounds that I stamped, I used the Ice Spruce Distress Oxide spray along with the Fossilized Amber. You can see it here to create that wreath. And I used spun sugar for my butterfly, but again, it's light, so I stamped it a couple times and it was still too light for me, so I went over it once with worn lipstick. And then I'm going to stamp this amazing sentiment right below, and I ended up using the same sentiment for all 4 of my cards. This one is one of my favorites. I used the Iced Spruce background, and I stamped the wreath with Peacock Feathers Distress Oxide ink. But like I said before, I stamped this one further out. I didn't stamp it right up against that circle outline. And I think the composition of this looks better than the first 2 that I did. I'm using the other butterfly, the one that's the full butterfly image, and I'm stamping it with Fossilized Amber Distress Oxide ink. And this Peacock Feathers with the yellow and that neutral gray background is one of my favorite color combinations. So this one ended up being one of my top favorite cards. So now let's look at all 4 cards that I made today. Here's the first 2 with the wreath that's close, and then the last 2, which are actually my favorite. So if you want to see still photos, head over to my blog or to the Scrapping for Less blog, and you can get more information there. Thank you guys so much for joining me. See you next time. Bye.